Hey drawers, we are talking about charcoal today. I am here on the Canvas site in the modules. A couple of readings for you to do about this media. The tips for beginners is fantastic, and it's going to be a good substitute for me being in front of the class giving you all some tips. Especially if you've never worked with charcoal before, it can be it can be a challenging media, and there's some good tips in there. William Kentridge as well is an artist that I want you to take a look at, who works primarily in charcoal, but he's an animator. So his process is really unique, and he's using non-traditional animation material. So an interesting example of a contemporary artist working in this media. Okay, so the assignment that we're going to be working on for charcoal is another still life. You're going to be doing this one in charcoal, and there's actually two charcoal assignments that we have. The second one, I'll be face-to-face working with you all, but this first still life, you're going to be working on it on your own using charcoal. And just pay attention to the rubric here. We're going to be doing, a positive rendering of the still life. The one that I'm going to be in person for is more of a reductive drawing, where we're drawing with erasers. But I'm going to give you all a demonstration of the type of technique you're going to be using when working on this this first charcoal drawing. So we want to get a smooth gradation, relative value. This is a monochromatic composition, so you don't want something that's white looking darker than the dark thing next to it. And as usual, avoid outlining. Pay attention to the scale. There we go. Okay, let me stop this share. And actually, hang on for a sec. Is there anything else I want to say? No, there's not. Let me stop this share, and I'm going to switch to my overhead camera here. So y'all can see what I'm drawing. Oops. Okay, when starting, I'm going to be working on an imaginary apple here. In theory, I'd have one in front of me, but this one exists in my imagination. It's perfectly acceptable to start with I've got an HB pencil here, some graphite, and do some outline. Just like with the Conte, you want to keep it light, because our paper can only take so much media, and we don't want to pack the surface of the paper with graphite. We want to leave room for the charcoal to go. And this isn't, a finished drawing. This is really just like a quick line representation of the major shapes, the major geometric groupings in this apple. I'm going to imagine my light source coming from down here. So we got a light spot here, and there'll be some darkness here, and of course a shadow. So that's really, and I've purposely done that light. It might be a little bit difficult to see, but that's going to give you an idea of where you're going with your artwork. Got some media here. Let me show it. Erasers and my chamois cloth. So I know your eraser's black. It looks a little bit different, and kneaded erasers if we have them, but you can also accomplish this without kneaded erasers. And I've got two kinds of charcoal. This big one that looks like a tree branch, it actually is a branch. I don't know if you guys can see that. This is called vine charcoal, and it's literally like charred branches of trees. This is kind of an extra large size, but you can get different sizes of vine charcoal. And then this little guy here is called compressed charcoal. Whoops, my camera's blurring up a storm here because I'm moving my hand around. There we go. And with these, this is this stuff ground up with a binder to hold it together, and often there is some type of black pigment added. So these, the compressed charcoal is a little bit darker than the vine charcoal. I purposely got, come on camera, keep up. I purposely got kind of a small chunk here because if you guys remember from the Conte demo, I like to break these apart and work with smaller chunks, and it's a little bit easier than trying to work with like the very end of something. So with your compressed charcoal, you're going to be able to get like a dark grade like that. And I'm just going to snap a piece off of this vine. I think, there we go. That was satisfying. The thing with vine is it tends to be a little bit lighter. It's not as densely packed as the compressed charcoal. You can tell from the name, and it doesn't have that that black pigment that the compressed does. So you get a bit of a lighter tone, as well as you can pick it off the page a little bit easier. The vine or the compressed, once it's on there, it's pretty well on there, unless you're going super light. You guys see how that almost comes right off the page if you start rubbing it, but the compressed is a little bit of a different story. And one of the beauty qualities of charcoal is that you can get these like really transient, smudgy, I don't know, just these smudgy areas that are so nice. So like with the Conte, I'm gonna go lighter rather than darker. And that's one of the tips in the article, tips about working with charcoal. I think it's actually one of the first tips because it's one of those things that like once it's on there, right? You guys notice the way I'm holding this? Is remember we were practicing holding our pencils this way at the first day of class. And I said, oh, it's going to come in handy when we start working with things like chalk and charcoal. And then over here where my light source is, because we're trying to get away from outline, I'm going to kind of use background haze to define the apple. And I might even give like just an imaginary, you guys are going to be drawing that still life, so you will have a tabletop to articulate. Okay, and you know, with charcoal, you could just leave it like this, but one of the beautiful things about this media is you can kind of come in, and you guys see how that changes it? Like it takes it, it's almost like a wash, right? And for me to be hyping up this way of working, and I'm not even really a smudger, it definitely says something about the quality of charcoal. Sometimes people use their fingers. You pick off a little bit less if you start using your finger. Kneaded eraser can pick off a little bit too, I think. Oh, where's my, get a little bit more tone up in here. And come back in and just deepen that shadow up a little bit. And you know, when I say we're avoiding outline, don't be afraid to have like some remnant of the media inside. You guys see how you can see where the charcoal went? That's not outline. So that's line, right? Like you can't get away from line in drawing. So don't think when I say like we're avoiding outline, you're not going to have any line anywhere on your drawing, because that's not true. All right, now for the shadow, the cast shadow. I've kind of got my guideline down, the pencil guideline. Got some loud trucks going by my house. Smoothing that out. And coming back and just like darkening the area where the darkest shadow is. All right, I feel like I maybe need a little bit more up here. Okay, and that's the basics of working with charcoal. As you can tell just from this quick demo, I'm starting to look a little bit like a coal miner. So when you're working with this media, I recommend not wearing your Sunday best. You know, actually I can get my camera back to my face here. Hi. Come prepared to get dirty and wash your hands a lot. Just watch the oils on your finger on the page, because if you're like sweaty, your hands get oily or anything like that, the charcoal is going to kind of stick to the areas where your hands are resting. So try to be a little bit conscious about where you're grabbing. And also if you're going over an area with your hand, don't be afraid to grab some newsprint and lay it down so you're not smudging this really transient media. Okay, submission for these drawings. Let me just share my screen again here. Submission for these drawings is October 6th, and I will be back to class then. So we'll be doing our normal critique in class. If you have any questions while you're working on this, please let me know, shoot me an email, and hopefully I can get an answer for you. All right, so good luck on your charcoal drawings, and I look forward to seeing all your faces again at Finlandia.